who had the big touchdown on the first drive. Handoff up the middle, and Marshall will get it across the 30.
Marshall, and he's got the first down as they move it down to the 21.
To the boundary, and Bryce Underwood just saw a seam and took off.
Marshall gets the carry. Now he's through the offensive line, down the sideline, and he is in, but a penalty flag is out around the 20-yard line.
Would it be the 10-second runoff?
Oh, they're going to go inside, score a touchdown anyway. Jordan Marshall punches it in. Hand it off again. Marshall up the gut. Second down and 2. Handoff, bounce it to the outside. Second score of the day for Jordan Marshall.
Haynes, they're power backs first, but watch Jordan Marshall doing a great job pressing the hole here, and then bang, there's the jump cut, cutting out to the outside. Race to the end zone. Touchdown, Michigan. They're playing with a ton of confidence right now. It's a huge matchup for both programs.
Marshall on the carry. Marshall left side near the 20-yard line. Third down and long. Hand it to Marshall. Marshall slips through across the 20-yard line. Makes this call very interesting.
Second and 10 from the 37. They'll keep it on the ground, and this is Jordan Marshall. Run anymore. I don't blame her.
Nice job inside.
Uh-oh! Got free, though, and picked up an extra 5 yards. And that's Jordan Marshall.
Went down, I think it was Gabe Moore was at 95, but inside, these two players play it well, but do not wrap up. They push across. Looks like he has him. It was Gabe Moore, but he breaks away for a big play.
Great second effort by Marshall. Has over 100 yards, and now it's Marshall's turn, and they go to him again. And he's got a big opening again, and he is gone. Jordan Marshall, he'll take it to the end zone touchdown. Got a great block inside from his center, I think, and that's all she wrote.
And number 53 going on. Watch these two right here handle the two Nebraska players. Combo, second level, bust them out. Beautiful play. I'll tell you what else, Samaj Morgan did a great job downfield blocking as a wide receiver to spring that as well.
Still set behind Underwood. Bredesen will be the lead man. He's going to cut it the other way, though. Marshall broke a tackle, and he slides over the first down marker and stays in bounds. Smart
play,
football.
yeah, for sure.
At the 19 for the Wolverines. Underwood looking, goes through his progression, drops it off short. Jordan Marshall, who's having a great start to his season. Underwood. Oh, some trickery there. Wow. Marshall, first down. McCulley has 3 of them. Here's another run. Marshall trying to get into that end zone, and he'll go down at the 5.
He's been to make him feel comfortable. Here's a big one for Marshall. Good hole, finds it to the 20. Generally leads the way. You follow 4-4, the ball tends to do the same. And that's what happens here. Bredesen gets the block, and Marshall gets back to the initial line of scrimmage at the 19. Design run, Underwood showing off the wheels. Stiff arm on the outside, and it's a 1st and goal for Michigan.
Wide receivers on both sides. There's a blitz. It's picked up nicely by Marshall. And again, the running ability of Bryce Underwood.
Morgan in motion on 2nd down and 5. Marshall on the handoff. Jump cut and a 1st down run. Picks up 7. And that one was when USC was threatening to go up 2 scores. Now can they pay it off offensively? Marshall snakes his way to the 10. It's Marshall on the delay. Jordan Marshall up the middle, and he picks up 12.
Well, they love this play. It's a little sprint draw, and watch Bredesen, the job he does right here. He's going to invite this guy upfield, throw him upfield, and then try to get to the next level, and they do a nice job with it.
Right back to Marshall. Finds the hole to the outside. Now he's chewing up yards, 10 more. Offense only 119 so far here tonight. Now remember, Justice Haynes has been out for a lot of this game as this one goes to Marshall across the 30-yard line. From inside the 15 for Underwood. Shovel pass. Marshall gets to the outside. stays on his feet. Marshall down the sideline and finally gets ushered out of bounds at the 30.
Gold on August 19th. And a handoff. Marshall follows his block, squeezes through, and he'll get about 8 yards. Still back. Play fake. Underwood sets up, drops it off to Marshall. In the flat, stutter step up the sideline. First down. With the Bears, 2nd and 5 to the 25. Marshall looking for that first down. He's strong, fights for it. He's electric. And they give it to Marshall. And Marshall, look at the leg drive. Haynes is out with an upper body injury. Worked out before the game, couldn't go.
Jordan Marshall was getting a decent amount of carries anyways with Haynes, and they feel good about him. You know, remember last year against Alabama in that bowl game, the ReliaQuest Bowl, he ran for 100 yards. This is a very capable back in Jordan Marshall.
2nd down and 3 at the 37. Underwood looking. Here's Marshall in space. And Marshall picks up the first down. Underwood hands it off to Marshall. And Jordan Marshall just pounding forward.
Gus, it's 4-down territory.
Underwood sprints out. Delayed handoff. Marshall, first down. Cuts it inside. Michigan. 2nd down and 8. And Marshall explodes for a first down. Can Michigan pay it off? Marshall! Touchdown! Michigan!
He's going to take you to the ball. Watch Max Bredesen. They run a little bit of a trap. They leave the defensive lineman for the fullback, Max Bredesen. It allows the center, Greg Crippen, to go up to the linebacker immediately, and that's how they finally get those linebackers blocked and Marshall free for the end zone.
Huskies showing blitz. Marshall cuts it inside at the 20. Look at the strength of Jordan Marshall. The Cincinnati Kid, baby. 11 yards.
You know what you're starting to see with this offensive line and Jordan Marshall is these young Wolverines. You got a redshirt freshman left tackle, 2 redshirt freshmen on the right side of that offensive line. You got a true freshman at quarterback. Marshall's a redshirt freshman, and they're learning how to be Wolverines. This is what we have come to know Michigan to be, a ground and pound. How would Jim Harbaugh say? We got to grind the meat.
Yes, right.
And that's what they're doing right now.
1st and 10 at the 14. Marshall again. And he'll get inside the 10. So Michigan takes over at the Washington 17. Marshall. And the leg drive by this young man is incredible. He gains 5. Marshall. First down, Wolverines.
Playing Ohio State as a 9-2, I think that's a win and in situation.
Marshall again.
Always been to have 2 high-level backs that complement each other.
As Marshall, this is what he says he does. He said, I can make people miss. I'd prefer to go through him. This time he does for a first down. This Michigan offense is top 2 in the country in 50-plus yard runs. And Marshall's drive here, dragging tacklers with him for 7. That was one of the hotter teams in the conference, coming in at 5-2. 2nd down and 7. Marshall with a hole. Marshall bursts into the secondary. Jordan Marshall will take it all the way for the touchdown. A 56-yard dagger.
Just back after a long absence is going to miss a tackle. They leave a void. There's a missed tackle, and Jordan Marshall makes him pay with a touchdown. They bludgeon, they bludgeon, they bludgeon, and then they knock you out.
Possession. You have to cross the 50, set up the wide receiver screen after Marshall. He's down the sideline. A great gain on first down.
And who's leading the way? Number 44, your 2-time captain, Max Bredesen, serving up pancakes out there on the perimeter.
Marshall with his 7th catch of the season. Hand it off, Marshall again. Left side, huge hole. Marshall's gone. A house call at the big house.
Michigan has quite a run of outstanding running backs in Jordan Marshall. It started with the Bama game last year, emerging as the leader down the stretch of this season.
It's just the 12th play run by Michigan. Put it in the belly of Marshall. Marshall trying to get the edge. Marshall's just tripped up after a gain of 6. Still 2 timeouts left for Michigan. Hand it off. Marshall. Marshall across the 25-yard line. Start when they reset. There they go. Handoff. Marshall up the middle. Touchdown, Wolverines.
Backers, aside from Barham, have all stepped up.
Marshall carries, slithering his way through. He's across the 50-yard line of the first down for Michigan.
The conversations are starting about the playoffs, a potential Big Ten championship appearance.
Carry here, Marshall to the outside. First down, Michigan. He's over 100 yards for his 2nd straight week.
Question becomes at this point in the season is, every single play, and this is something really to watch here. I mean, Justice Haynes already down. Jordan Marshall is your bell cow. This is very concerning for Michigan.
2.5 sacks now in the season for Manny Powell. Handed off. Marshall bleeding his way towards the 5. And he snuck through. Touchdown, Michigan.
Trick or treat. How about this for a trick, Jeff? He got completely lost in that pile, surrounded by white jerseys. How is he going to? They got his leg wrapped up. He's on one leg, hopping and bouncing for the playoff race.
And Michigan, Washington in that conversation too. Give it to Marshall, pushing the pile.
To hit their stride and play some of their best balls. We kind of highlighted today with some of those big Jordan Marshall runs.
Bredesen in motion. Bredesen. And now it's Marshall to the outside. He's got the sideline out of bounds inside Purdue territory. 3 minutes to go. Marshall gets it. Marshall pushing forward. Still pushing forward. First down, Michigan. That's what it's been all night long. 2-minute timeout on the horizon. First down and 10. Handoff Marshall. Bounces to the outside. Marshall inside the 15 and takes a slide to stay in bounds and keep that clock moving. Marshall handoff, 10-yard line, first down, Michigan. And they can put this one to bed.
First down and 10 at the 25-yard line. Underwood to throw on first down. Underneath, he's got Jordan Marshall deep back out of the I formation. They'll give it to Marshall, trying to squeeze through. Does he? Yes, he does. Touchdown, Wolverines. First and 10 at the 25. Here's a handoff, Marshall. Marshall breaking tackles, dives forward at the 30. First down at the 37. And Marshall.
You said ball or baseball?
Jenny was in the scoreboard earlier today. Marshall, nice running. Look at Jordan Marshall. What a back he's turning out to be for the Wolverines. Yes, they have. First down at the 26. Marshall. Oh! Marshall! Down the sideline. Can he get there? Jordan Marshall cuts it back and goes down inside the 10. The Cincinnati Kid.
Well, you got the block from you-know-who. There's Bredesen. He's right in the middle. He's getting up on the linebacker. Underwood thinks it's gone. This is amazing hustle from Gardner Wallace to track him down. Marshall is an explosive guy, but...
Saw that this week. I was in tears. I was laughing so hard. Marshall, another football. Marshall. Power running. Touchdown, Michigan. Marshall.
Ruling on the field is the ball crossed the goal line prior to being fumbled. Therefore, it is a touchdown.
And it did. Play is dead immediately when he's got control and he touches that goal line. Crosses the plane right there. Plays dead. Touchdown.
9. Marshall breaks it back. Marshall cuts it inside. Jordan Marshall again. A gain of 24, but he's down.
The Northwestern defender, when he tackled him, the first thing to go down was that right shoulder. And you can see at that angle right there, oh man, I have been there. That is really tough on your shoulder, in particular the AC joint in your shoulder. And he stayed down immediately. See, he just takes all the weight of himself and the defender, Uline, who was hustling from that middle linebacker spot.
Underwood, 16 of 23, 215 yards passing, 2 touchdowns against Maryland last week. On first down, they hand it off. Marshall, still running. Jordan Marshall, out of bounds at the 40-yard line. Michigan gashing them for 35 on the first play of the game. First down and 10 at the 39. Underwood to throw. Underneath, he finds his receiver. It's Marshall. He'll dive forward and get inside the 30. Marshall with a hole. Marshall, a burst. Marshall cuts it inside, down at the Ohio State 10. A gain of 22 yards, and already the Michigan offensive line moving people.
That's right, and what you're always going to get with Michigan is pullers. You've got Jake Guanera, the guard, he pulls over. Beautiful block by Jalen Hoffman, number 42. And then you've got Marshall, who again has been one of the best backs in the country the second half of the year. Good patience behind those pullers, and he takes it down the field, and Ryan, they cannot be happy about how this game is starting.